I just want to go straight to address the INEC chairman, Amupitan, or whatever he's called. You know, like I said in my previous interview, bad people have a character of bearing bad name. I can't even pronounce his name. I just want to let him know, straight ahead, the status quo antebellum or whatever the Court of Appeal pronounced, upon which we are hiding to stifle democracy in Nigeria. The status quo antebellum upon which you now hit, you know, to destroy democracy, you know, to remove the name of David Mark and Ogbeni Aregoshala from the INEC portal has been set aside by the Supreme Court. And I'm now urging you to hide their face in shame and quickly restore the name of Aregoshala and David Mark, you know, into the leadership portal of the Independent National Electoral Commission. And Mitoku, or whatever you are called, Supreme Court has set aside the status quo antebellum. The Supreme Court held that it was unnecessary for the Court of Appeal to even have made that kind of comment. In fact, Supreme Court went ahead to say that that status quo antebellum they pronounced upon is tantamount to sitting on an appeal over a matter that is still pending before the Federal High Court. That the Court of Appeal, having dismissed the appeal on interlocutory appeal, of course you know it's an interlocutory appeal, that they don't even, if it was needless. So Amutoku, or whatever you are called, the status quo antebellum or whatever, some people are even calling it antebellum, has been set aside by the Supreme Court as needless. In fact, the Supreme Court said, if I use the words of the Supreme Court, it's more severe. So I am urging Amutoku to shamefully restore the names of David Mark immediately, within 24 hours.
So for clarity sake,
if you didn't do it within 24 hours, you will sit in the content of the pronouncement of today's judgment. He hid under a pronouncement of the Court of Appeal to destroy the democracy in this country. And now the Supreme Court has rose up to the occasion. Like I said previously, that Supreme Court is a policy court. It's the final court. In fact, after them, you go to God. So now that the Supreme Court has done the needful and the status quo antebellum has been set aside, Amutoku should within 24 hours restore the names of David Mark and Ogbeni Aregoshala, you know, into the leadership portal of Independent National Electoral Commission. And ADC has all constitutional and statutory rights, you know, under the leadership of Senator David Mark, to continue their activity pending the outcome of the matter before the Federal High Court. That is the matter that has been pronounced upon today. What was pronounced upon today is interlocutory appeal, and the Supreme Court upheld that order that the matter should go back to the Federal High Court for accelerated hearing. That part of the judgment of the Court of Appeal was upheld, you know. So we are going back to the Federal High Court, and until the final decision of the matter before the Federal High Court happens, David Mark remains the chairman of ADC, and ADC has all the constitutional and statutory rights, powers and duties to continue their activities, including conducting their congresses, primary, submitting their names, you know, to Independent National Electoral Commission, or pending the final determination of the suit at the Federal High Court. Thank you so much.
Sir, for clarity's sake, the lawyer representing Nafi Bala says that the Supreme Court did not explicitly say that.
He might be confusing himself now. Didn't you see where the judges of the Supreme Court, you know, criticize the activities of some lawyers that are filing this kind of frivolous suit and applications? Of course, you were in the court. You heard when they bemoaned the activities of some lawyers, even also beyond the activities of some judges, you know, even justices of the higher courts. So let him interpret whatever all of us were in court and we listen to the judgment of the Supreme Court. So he has the right to interpret it in his own way. The CTC of the judgment will be probably ready by tomorrow or next, you know, so that you can now obtain CTC and read and digest. You know, so he has his right to interpret the judgment the way it pleases him. You know, what I'm saying is that Amutoku, or whatever he is called, his name sounds. He should restore the names of David Mark and Ogbeni Aregoshala into the leadership portal of INEC within 24 hours. Otherwise, he will be sitting in contempt of the judgment of the Supreme Court, and we will not hesitate to bring contempt proceeding against him. The man has so much ridiculed himself, he has so much reduced. If he hitherto he had any personality, he has reduced himself to zero. In fact, for doing what he did, for a so-called professor of law misinterpreted status quo ante bello to how it now amount to removing the names of the leaders, of the chairman and secretary of ADC. He has reduced himself to zero. So Amutoko, whatever he is called, should shamefully bury his face in shame and restore their names immediately within 24 hours. Otherwise, he will be sitting in contempt of this judgment, and we will not hesitate to bring contempt proceeding against him. Thank you so much.